It's a beautiful country. It's very complicated, but I think that everyone should learn about Serbian history.
Meet Lisa. Nearly 5 years ago, she moved from New York, USA to Belgrade, Serbia. Now she lives with her Serbian husband and their son and works as a freelance journalist. Lisa shared her experiences as a black woman in Serbia, how life in Belgrade compares to life in New York, and how to handle the famous Serbian inat. Enjoy! What's the best part for you in living in Serbia?
Being from New York, you can't always walk freely and feel safe. There's so many people, there's so much going on, it's so loud. It's not really very peaceful. I mean, my town, Astoria was, but still, like, you're never quite safe. Where I like the fact that I could be walking around the street at any time and I don't have to worry about being shot or, being attacked at any moment. It's peaceful, it's quiet. I like the small towns. I think people think I'm crazy. Even Belgrade to me is a lot of people. I like to go out to the small towns on the bus and just relax and drink a lot of rakia and just eat everything under the sun and just chill. I never drank coffee before I came to Serbia. Now I drink coffee all the time, espresso. I love to have my veins full of caffeine and just relax. It's a peaceful place to live.
What was the biggest shock for you in Belgrade when you came here?
Inat.
What is it?
The best way to describe inat is stubbornness. It's a particular stubbornness attached to Serbs. You see like that height up there?
Yeah.
Clearly no one can jump that height. If you tell a Serbian person there's no way you can jump that height, I swear to you, that Serbian person will find a way to do it. Like, inat is incredible. It needs to be studied by professionals because it's something that is incredible.
Next time when I come to bank, I know what to say to cashier. I say to her, you cannot do it in 15 minutes. What about everyday culture in New York? Do they say hello to each other, to neighbors, to people in shops, something like this?
Everything about being a New Yorker and being in Belgrade, as far as culture, was the opposite. And I think I may seem rude sometimes also because I don't really do that. Like, I don't really say hello to my neighbors so much. I try, but it feels
It's
weird.
difficult to you to accustom.
It is, yeah.
I think Serbia can change people.
It's changed me.
How did it change you?
I mean, it's made me a stronger person for sure. I feel like if something does happen, I definitely won't fall apart, being that I've been here. I can handle anything now. Like, you can throw anything at me and I'm good.
You have Serbian husband. Is it difficult in everyday life to live with Serbian husband? For you being American from New York and him being from Serbia?
I noticed that with Serbs in general. Serbs argue somewhere in the abyss. I know that Serbs argue. You just never see it. It's like a fairy tale. How Serbs argue, I don't know. I don't see it. I feel like for New Yorkers, we're gonna argue right in front of you. You're gonna hear it, you're gonna see it outside, out the window. It's everywhere. We're gonna fight now. Where in Serbia, it's very like, never bring your garbage outside type thing. Like, everything is done, and that's very different between us. Like, I'm ready to fight, and like, I'm not shy to argue in public, where that's a no-no here. Like, you never see that. I've never seen, my whole 12 years being here, I've never seen a Serbian couple arguing in the street. Just crazy to me. In New York, as soon as you get off the plane, you're gonna see couples like fighting it out. Like, that does not happen here.
Do you like it personally?
I appreciate it. I like how Serbs are very composed in the eye of drama. I like that you never know that, can I curse, that shit's going down? I like that. I like that you can't tell something's happening. Where me, I'm very dramatic. If I'm mad, everyone knows I'm mad. Like, I think that's not always a good thing. It's the way I am. Like, I don't feel bad. Like, it is what it is. But at the same time, I wish I had that control to not flip out when I feel my ears get hot, if that makes sense.
You've been in Serbia first in 2011. How was Serbia at that time?
It was great. The people were less accustomed to visitors. The conversation was bigger. People always approached you and said, "Oh my God, where are you from?" The stares were a little bit intimidating when I first came. As in New York, no one looks at each other. Everything is like this. So when I first came here and getting stared at constantly was very uncomfortable, but I got used to it.
Now I see so many black people here on
Yeah,
the street.
and it's normal now. I feel like no one is shocked. Before it was way more of a, oh my God, like people stop you. Where are you from? Like it was more of a spectacle back then, which is fine. But now I feel like people are like, even saying I'm from New York. When I first came, it was like, it was always, you're from New York. Like, wow, but like, why would you come to Serbia? I got that question every day when I first got here. But
Sorry
now,
for this question now.
No,
but
no.
why did you came to Serbia?
My husband is Serbian.
You came for him.
Yes. And then I had never been to Europe in my life. I decided this was the best chance to come. I did a lot of research about Eastern Europe. It seemed a little dangerous.
Yeah,
so-
at that time, I think in Europe and in America, there was this notion about Serbia that it's a dangerous place.
Watching the movies and films on Serbia, it definitely seemed out of this world. I was ready to come to a war zone. I was ready to come to something dark and horrible. But that didn't really, it wasn't like that when I came at all. But knowing a little bit about war and seeing that, which seemed like the Balkan Wars seemed like it happened over 100 years ago. And I didn't really understand Serbian history so much when I came, and I definitely didn't understand American involvement. So my curiosity was very innocent and maybe a little bit naive and hopefully not insulting, but maybe a little bit, because I didn't know.
If you understood this context, would you come?
Yes. Yeah, I would come. I mean, I came back, so yeah, of course. It's a beautiful country. It's very complicated, but I think that everyone should, if not come, everyone should learn about Serbian history, Balkan history, Slavic history. It's important. I love being an American, but I feel like learning about that you're not perfect, that we weren't a perfect nation, makes you better. And I feel like as Americans, if we can see that we're not the perfect nation, we've done things, and learn from that, I think that'll make things better, for Serbs, for Americans, for everyone.
Yeah, it's very common insight from Americans who are moving abroad and living in some countries that America is not the center of the world.
I don't disregard our strength, but at the same time, yet we're not the U.S. of the 90s. The American dream is dead. It's a sad thing, but it's true. The new American dream is to leave the U.S. and it will only get more extreme as time goes by, I feel. People will be running from the U.S. soon, which is sad.
What in living in America made you to consider moving to Serbia?
I come from New York. That's a very special place. I've been with all sorts of people. I've had all sorts of experiences. I know that as Americans, we're the spoiled children of the world. So when I saw that things were getting bad globally, I knew that as a people, we weren't gonna handle it well. And I felt like at that moment, it was time for me to move somewhere else so that I can avoid the madness that I thought was coming, in the U.S.
What kind of madness do you mean?
Madness as far as we saw that globally things were going to be bad economically. Americans are used to having a lot of money and resources. We're not used to struggle. You saw that struggle was coming. It was slow, but it was obvious that we were going to go through something soon. And we're not used to that. And that's just not anyone who you put a new struggle on their back that isn't used to it is going to handle it poorly. And I was trying to avoid that.
But so far there is no any kind of crisis in America.
I think it's a slow roll. You have so many different types of people that handle things differently. It's going to be a gradual eruption, I'll put it that way. If you grew up in pre-9/11 United States, it was totally different. It wasn't so resentful. It wasn't so angry. We lived very well for a while. And if you remember that time and then you see what's going on now, we're definitely in crisis. And they're only going to get worse, in my opinion. I don't want to be in the middle of that. I'd rather be here. It's pretty calm. And there's something great about living amongst people that are used to hardships. it's different. You know that when things get difficult, it's not going to be such a dramatic situation.
From the career point of view, the places like New York, it's a big point of attraction for people in art, journalism, technology.
Right.
When you come to Belgrade, it seems you like constrained yourself with something because you're far away from these big cities. Have you considered this point of view?
As far as careers?
Yeah, career-wise.
What happens is, for Americans, we spend most of our education learning about who we are and what we want to be, and then at some point of our career or our education, our life, we choose a career and we stick with that. Most Americans stick with one career for the most part, unless they change when they get older for whatever reason, but we generally stick with one career for our lifetimes. I think with the new generation is changing, but for my generation and older, you have one career. I noticed that in Europe, you shift with the opportunity. So if you, I guess, you're a writer, but then you want to be a musician, or then you want to be, I don't know, a videographer or a journalist, even a journalist, I feel like the change in career is more frequent here than the US, which is why I think we seem like stuck in a box. Once we choose something, that's what we are, for the most part. I feel like international money coming into smaller countries are going to make a huge tidal wave as far as opportunities, because now the payment has to change, the salary has to change, the cost of living is going to change. I think it's changing too fast in Serbia. Things are way too expensive here. They're almost borderline, if not more sometimes, than New York City prices, which is absurd. I think the influx of tourists is pushing the economy way faster than the country is prepared for. And I think there needs to be some kind of administration set up to prepare for the amount of visitors coming in to Serbia, just to make things work easier, because everything is getting way too expensive. When I first came here, like I said, maybe 10 years ago, a cab from the airport to Zvezda was like under 1,000 dinar. Now it's well over 4,000 or 5,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
What's the worst thing for you in Serbia?
Me coming as a black person, there was so much stereotypes and just ignorant comments being made that I had to understand that it wasn't a personal thing, but sometimes it was like, no. I feel like people don't really get to know me as an individual. I feel like I'm like a character to people. Either, I'm American, or I'm black. Like, I'm never like Lisa. That's really hard. And that's, no matter what anyone says, that's kind of always going to be the case. Like, I'm always a character for someone. People don't really get to know me as a person at all.
But you never thought about going back to New York?
Seeing what's happening in the US, and New York is in such bad shape. I went back a few months ago to visit, and it's just not. It's dirty. Most of the New Yorkers have left. So it's not even the New York spirit, the heart of New York is gone anyway. It was very much the city of dreams. Everyone was an artist. Everyone had some big dream to be something. I feel like now it's all about just money, money, money. It's just about, suck the life out of everything and leave. The dream is dead. So, and that's what I loved about New York and the US. I love the dream, I love the opportunity. And now it seems like there's more opportunity here. Not yet, but coming. When I left Belgrade, I needed a break. But when I came back, I was ready to come back. So I feel like this is like my home now.